because there's the fifth exhibition season for me, and like all exhibition season, it gives you an opportunity to play someone other than yourselves. You know, our guys have really kind of beat up on each other, and it gets to a point where it almost gets a little stale. So it'll be kind of refreshing to play someone other than ourselves, and hopefully getting a better idea of the guys that are more ready to play than others. So it gives you an opportunity to get some feedback, and that's what we want at this time of the year. It's amazing how that season comes right back on you. So we start the exhibition season this Thursday, and some of the things I'm really looking for in our team is, do we be a team that will continue to share the basketball? In the red-white game, I thought there were some times where we kind of held on it too long, guys trying to figure out how to score. I talked about our defense having to get better. This gives me an opportunity to see us put it together, putting out different combinations to find out, where guys are, understanding what we're trying to do defensively. So again, to me, this is a game that gives you a lot of feedback, and of course, with the number of players we got, most of them will play in this game.
Is this a game to press a lot, since you couldn't the other night, to really just see how the defense works and how aggressive it can be?
I think we'll be pick and choose. We'll press some, and we'll work on our half-court defense as well. I want our team to be a multiple defensive team. So I'm anxious to see, even when we do press, do we have the rotations? I thought the other night against each other, we just didn't have the manpower to do it over a period of time. So this is when you want to try to, get guys in a playing mode. I mean, when you think about a guy like Trey Thompson, basically it's almost like him being a freshman from a playing standpoint. And so to see him play the way he did the other night, I thought that was a real positive for our basketball team, and hopefully there'll be some carryover. Keaton Miles, a young man that now has an opportunity to impact our team. Let's see if there's some carryover. I think Bell he looks like a guy that's been here. Like he's been a guy, been here, done that before, and the key is going to be consistency. So those guys, Moses always has been a guy that battles and fights and plays hard, and that's going to be important. That's going to be important with our basketball team. So this game here, to me, it was, I think our guys are excited to be playing. After the red-white game, they had a day off, so this will actually be our first day practicing since the red-white game.
You know you're going to start?
No, I have not. Probably before some guys that probably will, and I'll be honest with you. I think a guy like Bell, you can pencil him in being a guy that's going to start out. Moses, I think Moses has been pretty consistent throughout the practice. There's Keaton, and then there's maybe Trey. It could be either one of those guys there. I think Jabril has had pretty good preseason thus far. I can't say who actually going to be there. It could be Jimmy Witt. We can see his impact on our team. A guy that I think is going to be a glue guy for our team is a guy like Manuel Watkins, and so that's why I say it's a lot of combinations that you can play with. So I may start one group the first half and mix it up in the second half. So it'll give me an opportunity to do that.
I don't think Watkins ever started last year. Do you really like him as a six-man, or can you see starting him some?
Well, he brings energy. He brings aggressiveness. And one of the things this team's got to be, it's got to be a team that plays with toughness. We got to play with heart. And I think he epitomizes that. And we may need him in the lineup to start that off. I just think this team, in order for it to be as successful as it want to be, it's got to be a team that's got to play as one, but it's got to play with some big-time grit. We may be small at times, so we got to have guys that don't mind getting there and banging and grinding and doing whatever it takes to win. And you got to have guys that have that toughness, that aggressiveness. I mean, the kamikaze kind of guys. And so, with Manuel, he could start, he could come off. It doesn't matter to him, and I think that's the beauty of it. He just wants to win.
You think you might start 5 and then you sub 5, or do you do different combos, or what do you think?
It'll probably be different combos. It won't be 5 and 5. I just want to keep some continuity, because that way, when your platoon is what you're talking about, sometimes you kind of lose a little continuity. But I can say that, and then you watch us play, and then all of a sudden say, well, Coach said he wasn't going to do that, and he did it. So I'm an instinctive coach, Bob. So we'll see how the game goes.
The way that Moses scored the other night, you've been seeing that from him in practice also, scoring that much and that consistently?
Well, we had a scrimmage where we brought in some officials, and that night he had, I think, 13 rebounds and 35 points. And the thing I like about it, he's getting in a variety of ways. I caution, because sometimes you look at him and say they're playing against each other, but I think you can see that he's playing with not necessarily a chip on the shoulder. He's just playing that he wants it. He's going at the rebound, loose balls. He's letting the game come to him, getting to the offensive glass, getting to the free throw line. That's going to be critical. He can be a screen and roll guy. He can be a screen and pop guy. He can step out and make the 16, 17 foot. And so what it does is opens the floor. So now you got guys like Jimmy Witt or Jabril Durham getting to the hole, whether they make a play or kick it out to the guys that are knocking shots down. And that's how this team's going to have to play. We've got to, take advantage of whatever mismatch we have.
Walk-ons, are they all eligible to play if you wanted them to? Or?
No, I think Deshaun, he's not eligible. He's doing a year. He's a transfer, year of residency. I think the other young men, they are eligible.
Well, obviously, you need some numbers to help you with practice. Well, what are those walk-ons added for you, especially Deshaun being a local kid?
Well, I just think we have right now we have 2 guys that are suspended. We got 12 guys on scholarship, so you got 10 guys, and so somebody's got to get a blow. So I think it gives you an opportunity to get those guys out there to give those guys a blow. That's been pretty big. Whether it be a minute, 2 minutes, whatever, that helps out. You got to have some bodies, and I think they help us from that standpoint.
What kind of work did Moses do this summer to develop his game, and how much impact do you think Bobby had, him watching Bobby the last couple of years, had on the game?
Well, I got to remember, Bobby and Moses are really thick as thieves. I mean, like brothers. And so from the AAU circuit all the way to the time he got here, and Moses, he spent time with Bobby. He saw what Bobby did in order to become the player he's become, and he put the work in. And so Moses he's done that. I mean, he's a guy that's probably shot more shots than anybody since the offseason. Different kinds of shots. I mean, he wears out that shooting gun, whether it be over here, be over in the performance center. Moses' deal is just the repetition. I think just getting the repetition and continue. We saw glimpses of it, but now he don't have to look over his shoulder. He's that guy, and as long as he produces, he'll have an opportunity to play. I think one of the greatest compliments you can get for a guy. He went to the media day. I took him down there. I mean, there's some guys I could have took, but I took him because I think he's earned that at this point. But I want him to earn more than that.
There's so many guys that are going to be playing expanded roles, or, you're hoping they will, and you got new guys too. Just how anxious are you to see how they look, even though it's an exhibition game against a team you'll obviously be a lot.
I'm just looking forward to seeing us play somebody other than ourselves. I've had to kind of taper our practices at times, but I think from a coaching standpoint, it gives you an idea to see these guys up under the camera lights in action, and the thing about it, they're playing somebody they don't know. They don't know them, and we don't know them. So, I mean, they're going to get after our guys. They're going to come here and play to win. I mean, they have nothing to lose. And so our guys have got to get that mindset from day one that, anytime you take that floor, every game's a big game. And they're not necessarily playing this Arkansas team. They're playing the Arkansas tradition. They're playing that team that won 27 games last year. And so you're going to get everybody's best shot. So our guys got to understand the urgency that you got to play with. And, you can't just draw it when the clock starts, when the game starts, you got to be ready to come out and play. And with having so many guys that hadn't had an opportunity to play in those roles. Now they get a chance to do it, and hopefully they want to keep those roles. I tell them all every day that, they're auditioning, and they're auditioning for the show. Well, the show's getting ready to get started.
I guess Bobby was here Saturday. What did he think about, about how things are going for him?
Well, Bobby's, I tell you what, he's excited. He's excited. I mean, he had a tremendous preseason, and of course, he's just trying to get into that rotation now. But I think he's still humble and hungry, and with the understanding that his time will come. That's the thing I got out of it. He's enjoying it. I think he still wishes he probably was here too. That's the 20-year-old kid in him. But more importantly, I think he's moved on, and it's a different lifestyle. But I think he's adjusting pretty good.
How much does having a guy like Anthlon back help the progression of Jimmy Witt and even Dusty, who didn't play last year?
Well, Anthlon's a guy that can talk to these guys. He's got to be the guy that step up. He's never been a big talker, but he's probably talking more than he's ever talked. And it's funny, Dudley talked about Bobby, but even as Michael Qualls, he and Anthlon were really good buddies, and that's I think Anthlon said, Mike told him, "Hey man, you got to be that guy this year." He said, "We're not here anymore," and I think it says a lot about those kids as they moved on. It's kind of like they passing the torch, and Anthlon's a guy that's very few words, but I'm seeing him come out of that more and more, and he's a guy that's been through it, and it makes it a little easier for the other guys, because what can take place with young guys or guys that hadn't played, they can get flustered real early. And as a player, they got to understand, hey, it's on, move on to the next play. You can't play perfect basketball and move on to the next play. We may turn it over down here, but let's get back on defense and let's find a way to get it. And I think from that standpoint, and off the floor as well, just talking and mentoring to these guys.
Who do you expect to see step up and take a leadership role this year and tomorrow night? I
think those are the questions that I hope are answered. I think if you look at what I said, the red-white game, and some of the things I've seen in practice, I think a guy like Anthlon Bell, he has an opportunity. Moses Kinsley, Manuel Watkins, and even a guy like Jabril Durham. And the more guys you have stepping up, talking about the right things, I think it helps this team become a team. And that's what it's going to have to be. This team is going to have to really all be on the same page. And the sooner we get on that same page, I think we'll see a better product on the floor. I mean, it'll be erratic as we start out. That's why I told people, watch out. Balls may go in the stand. They may go everywhere. But it's going to be a progression where it gets better. Our teams typically do. They start out in this phase, and that's what this exhibition season is about. Then we jump into the non-conference, and before you know it, you'll be in conference play. It's November already. And so November, December, and then, of course, January starts conference play. But we'll have some guys, I think, will step in those roles in the leadership role. So I'm excited about it. I'm anxious to see, how we do in a real game setting against an opponent that knows nothing about us, and we know anything about them. We don't know anything about them.
What have they shown you so far that makes you think, hey, we really can move forward here and not take a step back?
Well, I think they're listening. I think they're listening to the coach. I think I really feel that they want to prove, that they're a good basketball team. They start out, we lost some pieces, but they're working. They're working each and every day. They continue to do the right things off the floor. And when they come on the basketball court, they're bringing it every day. They're giving me everything they got, and I think it's just a matter of all that coming together. It's kind of like, hopefully it could be a perfect storm. But before we get to that, we got some battles in front of us, but we're looking forward to the challenge.